approach the sigil on the stone. Magic glitters and swirls from it erratically, as if malfunctioning. It looks slightly dangerous.
A hand? Anyone? Whatever you're doing is working wonders. Now a quick little pull should do the trick.
Hello. I'm Gale of Waterdeep. Apologies. I'm usually better at this. At magic. Say, but I know you, don't I? In a manner of speaking. You were on the Norse Lloyd as well. Don't happen to be a cleric by any chance, do you? A doctor? Surgeon? Uncannily adroit with a knitting needle? How about we lend each other a helping hand once more and look for a healer together? But before you think you're about to embark on a journey with most ill-mannered a man, thank you. You're not versed in magic, are you? Oh, I do apologize. I meant to ask, are you studied in magic? Namely, are you a wizard? Which you are not.
Indulging in a spot of vanity. Handsome devil, aren't I? Be that as it may.
Shoot before you lose your nerve, Tiefling. If you ever had it to begin with.
Comfort. Is that what you think I'm after?
Tiring business, isn't it? All this traveling and adventuring. Why don't we take a little break, Allow ourselves a few moments of rest? Gives me a chance to talk to you about something. We've been on the road together for a while now, haven't we? Survived some perils, overcame some obstacles. Ever since you were kind enough to free me from that stone, I've seen you demonstrate remarkable guile and courage. The way you diffused the tension between Zevlor and Aradin. The way you stood in front of a crossbow to prevent a murder. In short, I've grown to trust you. Point of saying this is that I've grown confident enough to tell you something I've yet to tell another living soul, except for my cat. You see, I have this condition. Thank you for the offer, but the treatment for my condition is very specific. That is why I turn to you. I need you to help me find magic items to consume. It is vital. Dare I say it? Critical. You have my thanks. And fear not. Your implicit trust is well placed and will be rewarded with any and all means at my disposal. My condition is worsening again. I need to consume some powerful magic or it may become volatile. Thank you.
My, what manner of place is this? A path to redemption? Or a road to damnation? Hard to say, for your journey is just beginning. What would suit the occasion? The words to a lullaby, perhaps. The mouse smiled brightly. It outfoxed the cat. Then down came the claw. And that, love, was that.
Do you feel as flattered as I do? Invited to dine with a devil. Believe me, That was a devil's equivalent of serenades and roses. Don't let his bluster fool you. All that talk of desperation merely illustrates his own. I think he wants something from us, badly. And in that knowledge lies our opportunity. Our souls. But I suspect that's but his opening offer. Let me play the devil's advocate. The man is too eager. Do not dismiss his offer out of hand. If there's one quality all the denizens of the hells embody, it's ambition. A quality they share with many humans, come to think of it. Raphael will seek us out again, and when he does, there's a mighty bargain to be made. Remember his Cormyrean rhyme? Down came the claw. Perhaps we should start growing our nails. Oh. My, you startled me. It's miles away. Not praying. Not quite. I was just practicing an incantation. What can I say? She's Mystra. I can't quite describe it. The need I sometimes feel to see her. To draw the filaments of fantasy into existence. No sculpture or painting could ever do her justice. Only the fabric that she herself is and embodies. The weave. Mystra is all magic. And as far as I'm concerned, she is all creation. I see you understand. Magic is my life. I've been in touch with the weave for as long as I can remember. There's nothing like it. It's like music, poetry, physical beauty, all rolled into one and given expression through the senses. Would you like to experience this? Then follow my lead. Now you.
A familiar feeling, like a kind word and a kind touch at the same time. It's warm and comfortable.
Excellent. Now, repeat after me. Athran Mystra Ril Kantrak Eo.
Ah, yes. The scent of rosewater and a sense of well-being. A sliver of weave that tastes sweet on the tongue.
Very good. Now, I want you to picture in your mind the concept of harmony, as true as you can.
You see, or is it sense, the unmistakable presence of Mystra, the Lady of Mysteries. There's something like the anticipation of a kiss, then the pleasure of being cloaked in peace. You are safe. You are nestled in the cup of Mystra's hand.
You did it! You're channeling the weave. How does it feel? Quite so. The weave is a sensitive conduit.
The weave connects you. The moment feels intimate. You have but to imagine your desire, and Gale will know it.
I didn't think.
You perceive quick-fire gusts of embarrassment, trepidation, and finally, elation.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting. But it is a pleasant image, To be sure. Most pleasant, in fact. Most welcome.
The weave evaporates, and as it does so, you realize the night feels suddenly cold and lonesome.
Oh. There it goes. How easily things slip away from us, no matter how hard they were in the obtaining. Good night. I enjoyed sharing a moment of magic with you. I assure you it's not. Don't get me wrong, you did well. The somatic component, the verbal component, even the focus on the inner self that invites Mystra in. But I was still your conduit. To perform such a feat alone requires much and arduous study. Of course, as a cleric, your patron deity endows you with many such powers, otherwise unattainable. I do hope you cherish that gift. I must consume another artifact. And soon. Good gods. It hardly has any effect. Oh, Mystra, have mercy on us all. Listen, I need to speak to you, to all of you. It would be unconscionable of me to remain silent. You have to know who I was. You have to know who I really am. What I am is a walking shadow of the promise I once held. I'm what one might call a wizard prodigy, who from an early age could not only control the weave, but compose it, much like a musician or a poet. Such was my skill that it earned me the attention of the mother of magic herself, the Lady of Mysteries, the goddess Mystra. She revealed herself to me and she became my teacher. In time, she became my muse, and later even my lover. Oh, yes. We enjoyed each other's company. Body, mind, and soul. But even so, I desired more. You see, no matter how powerful a wizard we mortals can become, we never scratch more than the surface of the weave. Mystra keeps us in check. There are boundaries she doesn't let us cross, yet every time I was with her, I stood on the precipice, gazing into the wonders that lay beyond. I sought to cross her boundaries. Quite. I tried to convince her. I pouted. I pleaded. Swore my ambition was only to serve her better. She only smiled and told me to be contented. But inconceivable as it seems to me now, I shared a bed with a goddess, and yet I wasn't satisfied. So I sought to prove myself worthy to her instead. We come now to the crux of my folly. Shall I share the story behind it, or would you rather head straight to its sordid finale? Very well. Here goes. Once upon a very long time ago, a mighty lord lived in a tower. A flying tower, to be precise. I'll save his history for another time, but the gist of it is that he sought to usurp the goddess of magic so that he could become a god himself. He almost managed, but not quite. And his entire empire, Netheril, came crashing down around him as he turned to stone. The magic that was unleashed that day was phenomenal. Roiling like the prime chaos that outdates creation. Even the weave itself could not withstand the onslaught. It fractured, then shattered, and all magic was lost to the mortal realms, until the day Mystra returned. She restored the weave, reuniting all its scattered shards. Or so I thought. Until, in the course of my studies, I learned of a book. A Netherese tome in which a piece of the fractured weave had been sealed beyond her reach. What if, I thought, what if, after all this time, I could return this lost part of herself to the goddess. I don't discredit my reasoning. Alas, that my execution was rather less sound. I was certain that this deed of raw power, draped in romance, would convince Mystra to take me by the hand and welcome me into her hitherto forbidden domains. I was mistaken. I obtained the fabled book and took it into my study. As for what happened next...
Here. Place your hand over my heart. Let me show you.
You feel the tadpole quiver as you realize Gale is letting you into the dark. You see through Gale's eyes, staring down the corridors of a dread memory. A book, bound, and suddenly opened. Inside there are no pages, only a swirling mass of blackest weave that pounces. Its teeth, its claws, it's unstoppable as it digs through and becomes part of you. And gods, is it ever hungry.
Thankfully, the moment I absorbed the fragment wasn't enough to kill me outright. It was only the beginning. This Netherese blight, this orb, for lack of a better word, is balled up inside my chest. And it needs to be fed. As long as I absorb traces of the weave from potent enough sources, it remains quiet. Were it ever to fully destabilize, however. I will erupt. I don't know the exact magnitude of the eruption, but given my studies of Netherese magic, I'd say even a fragment as small as the one I carry, it'd level a city the size of Waterdeep. I know. All of this. It must feel like a betrayal. Say the word, and we'll part ways. That is a great relief. Oh, a great relief indeed. You truly are a soul that steals my own. From all my new rallied heart, I thank you. I thank you all. I understand if you stand against me. I'm humbled if you stand with me. Either way, I will do my best not to let you down. I stand at a precipice, but if you do not give up hope, neither shall I. I'll fight. I'll resist as long as I can. Now, even I am tired of the sound of my own voice. Let us venture forth. Beautiful night, don't you think? Nothing like a brush with destruction to make one appreciate the majesty of the celestial canvas. It's a view I would once have shared with my companion, though definitely unaccompanied by such revelry. She preferred it when we were alone, curled up before a crackling hearth with some ancient, esoteric tome between us. Ink glinting in the firelight. By a Garon's lost nose! No! I speak of Tara, my Tressin, assistant, my constant companion through all the ills and tribulations my hubris has thrust upon me. Remind me of her somewhat. There's a steeliness in you, an unwavering tenacity, even in the face of, to be frank, quite dire odds. Wish you were here for me to make a formal introduction. But I would never ask her to undertake such a journey. She's safer at home. Besides, she was always telling me I needed to spread my wings, so to speak. Find mortal friends instead of hanging onto Mystra's coattails. So that's what I'm doing. I hope. Very funny. But as we all know, nymphs are sticklers when it comes to their bathing routines. You, my friend, haven't been near a fresh spring in a 10-day or more. Not that I don't appreciate your musk. Actually, rather like it. Well, this seems as good a time as any for me to stop babbling on. Were I to recite that list, I fear we'd be here at dusk tomorrow. Many things, I assure you. But a conversation better saved for another time. With my condition as volatile as it is, I fear any undue excitement may tip it over the edge, so to speak. Go. Indulge in the frivolities. They're good for the heart. And mine will be all the lighter to see you enjoying yourself.
Who there, wanderer? Stay thy course a moment to indulge an old man.
Elminster?
The very same, Gale. Endure an hour's worth of exposition to my presence, and you may well come to consider a different sort of honorific with which to chronicle the occasion. But until then, your sentiment is well received.
Yes, yes, yes. Be that as it may, you said you came all this way on my behalf, did you not? For what purpose?
I was bid to spare neither time nor my own self to find you. She sent me, Gale. You know of whom I speak.
But why? Out with it, Elminster.
And the charge I bring you are hers.
I could debate you on that.
You know where you went wrong, Gale. No, we needn't dwell on that here and now. But even so, you're to be given a chance of redemption. She knows of your strife with the Absolute, that most insidious of evils. You must know that the Absolute is more dangerous than you can possibly conceive. It threatens all who live, even those who are undying. It threatens the gods, the weave, the very fabric of the universe itself. That's why I have come here to charge you, Gale, with its destruction. It is Mystra's belief that only you can. I doubt not your conviction, but Gale has an unnatural advantage.
The orb.
Precisely. Mystra has granted me the power to stop the clock, as it were, on the orb's rush to overpower you. Instead, you will be able to unleash its lethal combustion at will, and use yourself as the catalyst that will burn it from this world.
Glad it's not just me.
It brings me no pleasure saying this, my friend, but such is Mystra's will. Mystra Italion Thras Annas. It is done. To you, I commit into care Gale himself. I count on you to shepherd him well on this strangest of journeys.
On my honor, I'm not sure yet I can say the same.
Even the waves of fate can break upon the shores of will. Farewell, my friend.
Farewell, Elminster. I'm glad she chose you. An audience with Elminster is never less than memorable. I'd have hoped to introduce you to him in less dire circumstances. But those are hard to come by these days. It certainly wasn't the reunion I was hoping for. No, if anyone had to deliver such a message, I'm glad it was my old friend. For Mystra to have sent him, the severity of her bidding could not be clearer, or weigh more heavily on me. Time seems so infinite when you're young. A month is an age. A year is a lifetime. It is a strange feeling to realize how little of it one might have left. Of course, you offer the clearest solution to our problem. All I have to do is find the right place and time, close my eyes, and let go. I've no doubt she has the power to do so, but as for the permission, Ao would not look kindly on her meddling in mortal affairs. Divine intervention has a tendency to make things worse, not better. Possibly the most spectacular one ever conceived. But essentially, yes, I'm living on borrowed time in more ways than one. Perhaps this is how it must be. That remains ahead of us for now. The heart of the Absolute must be discovered before I can stop its beating. Then I suppose there is nothing more to be done but find the heart of the Absolute and stop its beating. It's quite thrilling to fight off such grim creatures as this region throws at us, especially being at your side. I once read a book that explained in some detail the effect a brush with danger has on one's desire for other forms of stimulation. Have you ever read anything on that subject? I can't imagine anywhere that could turn my heart from you, cursed or otherwise. You'd always be as beautiful and as impressive. Perhaps it's just the thrill of our near undead experience talking. Standing at your side through such darkness and disrepair, it only makes me want you more. Unfortunately, this is neither the time nor the place to indulge such feelings, so we must be patient and push all such thoughts aside. For now. Good evening. I'm here on behalf of Gale of Waterdeep. He wishes to extend you an invitation for a private conversation in a more suitable locale. I love this time of night. There's an almost reverent silence that accompanies the peak of darkness, when you'd almost believe the dawn will never break. The cradle of eternity. The timelessness of lovers. That most beautiful of fantasies. Indeed. The curse is still present, of course. Just veiled and at arm's length for now. Not a trick I can repeat often, but tonight is different. This may be my last night alive. I wanted it to be under a canopy of beauty and wonder, and with company to match. I thought this place might bring me peace. I thought it might make the weight of what I must do feel a little lighter. But I'm not so sure. Babe or crone, coward or hero, death is assured. Mystra's forgiveness is not. If you knew the end was near, would you not want to ensure it had meaning? I am terrified. will not claim otherwise. My face could scarcely conceal it, even if my words sought to deny it. There is no point in running from the inevitable. Better to meet it on my own terms. One moment with you could sate me for a lifetime and prize the fear from my heart. I'm so very glad you came to share this with me. I know this is all unreal, but I created it for you. You must know that you're very special to me. If things were different, if we were home, I'd have taken time to do things properly, to say it all better. But time is short. I'm in love with you. That's a relief. It would be a shame to spend my final hours making an ass of myself. Not if I have any say in the matter. I want it to be perfect. To bond with you in the way the gods do, intertwining our spirits in visions of the weave. How about the perfect night in Waterdeep? Yes? Let's imagine how it would be. The scene is this. You and I stand in the room that is the center of my universe. Sculptures, the paintings, the walls enlivened by the spines of 1,000 books. The grand piano plays the Lyrian suites all by itself, and as we look out beyond the arches that lead to the terrace, we see the weary sun take its daily dive into the sea. My favorite spot. Many times, evening turned to night and back to daybreak once more while I sat here, lost in words. Oh, allow me to live dangerously while I still can. This one here is called The Art of the Night. It details the first 1,000 nights of a newlywed king and queen. They turned everything they did into an art. The art of conversation, the art of taste, time-honored and newly acquired. The art of the body, the exploration and acceptance of the self and the other. The art of the night itself. They say we take a page from their book. Then let's set the book aside and be blank slates on blank sheets. Delightfully new. What do you say? The stars will be our bed. Come here. Why confine ourselves to the pleasures of mortal flesh? There's but one stitch in a vast tapestry. Let me show you more. I wanted to talk to you about our night together. Have you ever walked to the very edge of a great precipice and shuddered at how easy it would be to step into the void? Ever since Elminster told me of Mystra's expectations of me, it felt like I've been walking along such a cliff face. The great drop to nothingness, never out of my sight. But you led me away from the edge. Without your words, your touch, I fear I would have sought purpose and solace in that void. Reminding me what living can feel like. I had been hoping you'd say that. To be an object of pity. I couldn't live with that. I hope the end is much farther away than I had suspected. I hope that night meant as much to you as it did to me. And I hope we all have more time together. Together. Alone. Plenty of them. And all complicated. It's not easy to turn away from one you once loved, but now that I see our relationship with all the illumination hindsight has to offer, I mostly feel only regret. I was not the first wizard to fall under her spell, nor will I be the last. I was an amusement to her. Mortal to be trifled with, amused and eventually discarded. I regret the way I hurt her, of course I do. But she would have seen me destroy myself to earn her forgiveness. There's no love lost between us. None at all.
Carved into the bench's rotten surface is some kind of ritual circle. Its sigils half faded. Darkness and decay hangs in the air around it.
A ritual circle. And a complex one at that. I've seen such a construction before in the writings of the Weave Pasha Raven, though his vision was not so tainted. Well, it wasn't in his published archives, it was merely a sketch. He invoked Mystra's guidance on how to complete it. It was quite a fascinating design, though the version created here is a strange corruption of the Weave Pasha's original intent. It's been mostly drained, but even now contains a powerful dose of shadow weave. The discarded pixie corpses might still contain enough essence. With one of the broken lantern casements... Yes, I think I'll be able to craft one more lantern. And with a slight modification of the casting gesture, it might be able to wield the shadows instead of repelling them. Though, Mystra's eyes may be upon me. And she'd forbid me dabbling with such magic. She'd want it destroyed. Wasted, arguably. Very well. Stand back, if you please.
It doesn't take much. The sigils fade, the circle's tainted magic dissolving harmlessly into the ether.
Not bad for a wizard who slept through his Kalashite lessons, eh? Did you feel that? If I wasn't surrounded on all sides by the darkness of the Shadow Curse lands, I'd think it was Mystra herself brushing against my skin. Not weak, but subtle. Mystra knows it is a risk to make herself known here, however briefly. After all, this cursed place is not hers, but Shah's. Mystra came here with a purpose. She's left some tiny part of herself to watch over me, I think. A boon to help us reach the heart of the Absolute in one piece. Strange, though, that she would reward me for such a service now. She's hardly been forthcoming on that front since my banishment. Perhaps I'm overthinking things. A blessing's a blessing, and this one should come in most useful.
An elder brain. One of the cruelest and most powerful creatures in existence, enslaved by mere mortals.
It radiates with power unlike anything I've ever seen. To have it. To hold. Oh, if only I could. But I can't. This is it. I must do as Mystra commands. What choice do I have? More than just a goddess counseled my courage. Whole worlds hang in the balance. I love you too. Much more than myself. More even than Mystra. Very well. Whether I condemn this world or not, I choose you.
The Crown's Netherese magic must be the true source of the parasite's abilities.
Netherese? These chosen are powerful indeed to have such magic in their command. I can't help but feel like I've been fumbling in the dark for too long. And I've just had a lit torch thrust into my hands. Indeed. Under other circumstances, I might have been subdued or ashamed. But after what we saw, I must admit, I'm excited. The crown! The one the Elder Brain was wearing. The one I very nearly destroyed. Netherese magic. So pure, so complete, that I didn't even recognize it at first. Most Netherese artifacts contain only the faintest amount of their former power, the ghost of an echo of a memory. That crown was different. I can't fathom how such a wonder survived. Surely everything of its ilk was destroyed along with Netheril itself, but no matter. It exists. I must learn more of it. That crown sits on a gargantuan elder brain bent on destroying us and everything we hold dear. Understanding its true nature might unlock the means of our victory. We need to learn more about what we saw. An artifact as powerful as that crown must have been documented somewhere. As luck would have it, we'll soon find ourselves near one of the finest book collections this side of Candlekeep, Sorcerous Sundries. I need to go there and learn all I can. The only kind I have? Their collection of rare tomes is unparalleled. Netherese texts are hardly commonplace, but I'm certain they'll have one or two stashed away. You'll have to forgive my eagerness, but if my suspicions prove to hold water, this could be the answer to all our problems.
Glad you came. Not to my door, not yet, but to the final reckoning. You free Orpheus, and in doing so save the city, the Sword Coast, perhaps the whole world, and your own precious skin too. And you give me the crown that dominates the Elder Brain.
Handing that crown to this devil will be like feeding gunpowder to a lava worm. Agree to nothing.
Right here, you'll find everything is in order. The moment I have your signature, you will have the means to free Orpheus. The hammer. You guarantee the crown will be mine once the brain is defeated, and I swear that I will never use the crown to dominate a mortal. I will come to collect. If you refuse to give me the crown, I collect your souls instead. Perfect. One more rhyme, for old time's sake. The master was slain within his own house. They dined on him both, the cat and the mouse.
You'll have to forgive me, but I'm struggling to understand why you'd agree to just hand over the crown. Especially for a bloody hammer. I'm glad to hear it. But you realize we can't just tell him we changed our minds. For now, our plan must remain the same. We go to Sorcerer's Sundries and learn about that crown. And pray the devil doesn't get there first.
You have a scent of the weave about you. I perceive you're a cleric of Mystra.
Mystra is attentive. The Lady of Magic welcomes your presence.
Whatever you want with this idol, I prefer we make it quick. Not sure I'm comfortable catching Mystra's eye, even if it is made of stone. Trust me, it'll take a lot more than a few gold pieces and some fervent thoughts to convince Mystra to break her silence. On my account, at least. Commune with her as you see fit. She's your goddess. And I've no wish to stand between you and any blessing she might deign to offer.
Offered proves your faith and devotion. You may now pray here once a day for a divine blessing. Show reverence before your deity and open your soul to their divine power. The Mistress of Magic blesses you with an enhanced attunement to the weave. Praise her.
Literature Department. Can I help you? It is said to be written by Lord Carsus himself, the Netherese arcanist who attempted to replace the goddess Mystra, failed, and was banished for the attempt.
That's it. That's what I need. If the crown atop the Elder Brain was truly forged by Carsus himself, this book will confirm it. All we have to do is turn the page. That devil Raphael was telling the truth. There's no doubt. The crown of Carsus is what's controlling the Elder Brain. And this is no mere journal. It contains Carsus's original plans for the crown's construction. His designs for godhood. Not from scratch. Unless you happen to have several pounds of the purest Netherese metals in that pack of yours. Don't worry. I'm not asking you to surrender anything else on my account. What's called for here is something altogether different. The book states that the crown and netherstones were originally one construct, seemingly sundered at the moment of Carsus's downfall. If we can collect the crown's setting and the 3 netherstones, and with the correct invocation of certain spells and gestures detailed in these notes, I think I could reforge it. Just think of it. The power of the gods in mortal hands at last would be free of doctrine and dogma, confined only by the limits of our imaginations. Find me later, and I will show you something truly divine. I will show you what a crown like this could mean for both of us.
Oh, hello, my boy. No, don't mind me. I'm just enjoying a lungful of Buldarian air. I hear you've been browsing in the most esteemed of emporiums, Sorcerer's Sundries. Indulge my curiosity. What wonders did you discover there? I trusted he would be sensible enough to exercise caution in this matter and to seek the truth. By now, you are aware of the evil we are up against. Carsus's pestilent crown, the very tool with which its eponymous creator unmade an empire and magic itself. Perhaps now you understand what is at stake here, my boy. Though what Mystra asked of you was extreme, it was not without merit, nor demanded lightly.
What are you saying? Or rather, what are you not saying?
Mystra knows you defied her, Gale. Of course she knows. She's Mystra. She bids you come to her holy shrine in the Stormshore Tabernacle. There, she will grant you an audience at last. Trust in yourself. Trust in the weave, if you are willing. Trust in Mystra. There is a conclusion yet to be written in this sorry tale, Gale of Waterdeep.
So all it took to get Mystra's attention was to learn how to reforge an artifact that once destroyed her. It's obvious when you stop to think about it. Not scared, not yet. But she's shaken if she feels the need to intervene directly. This is a conversation that's long overdue on both sides. I owe it to her to hear her out. Come what may afterwards. I don't think I deserve you at times. I told you of my ambitions, the likes of which many would balk at. And yet you remain at my side. Words alone are not enough. Permit me to show you. Please, close your eyes a moment. Astra navigamus. Few mortals ever glimpse what you're about to see. But don't be alarmed. I'm here with you. Now, open your eyes. The outer planes. This is where gods dwell. They observe us from afar, where they make playthings of us. They will keep all of this from us. The power, the possibilities. They only want us to serve them, to pray to them, and ultimately to die for them. But what if we didn't need them? What if we wielded their power instead and helped ourselves in all the ways they refuse to? I could make that happen. I could make this illusion a reality, with you by my side. No, not like that. I don't want to join them, I want to better them. A god's powers paired with a mortal conscience, a mortal heart. The tadpoles, the orb, these threats to our existence, the gods could aid us if they wished, but instead they cower behind Io. So let us act ourselves. With the power of the crown, any foe would be rendered impotent, any obstacle would be dwarfed by our might. I used to believe Mystra's forgiveness was worth dying for. But I was wrong. You showed me just how much I have to live for. With you, I forget, my goddess. I love you. Tell me you feel the same way. Tell me you want what I want. Please. Right now, I need nothing more than a kiss. Then we'll face what is to come, together. And claim the crown when the time comes. You put the stars to shame. Let's sit here another while. I want to drink you in.
there she stands, just as Elminster promised. Mystra, goddess of the weave, mother of all magic.
The old man wasn't lying. She's opened the summoning channel. Can't you feel it?
Gale's right. The very air around the statue crackles with magic, as though the weave itself were coursing beneath her stony skin.
A stream of pure, undiluted weave. I only have to reach out, and it will carry me to Mystra, wherever she may be. Time was, I'd have given my right arm for a chance to speak with Mystra again. The left one, too. Maybe a knee. You have more faith in her than even I did. Understandable, though, when you have not loved her as deeply, or known the depths of her affections. When I pictured this moment, I thought I'd feel more in control. Yet, here I am, with palms sweatier than a bugbear's armpit. I always wonder what being nervous would feel like. I hate it. You know what it is to worship her, to respect her, to love her. It was intoxicating. An experience beyond expression. During my time locked away in Waterdeep, I prepared a quite comprehensive speech for her on the subject of our former relationship and the manner in which it ended. Alas, recent events have rendered the majority of it moot, so I'm going to have to improvise. Unless you have any words of wisdom to impart before I go. With pleasure. It's not often one has the chance to threaten a goddess and make good on it. Mystra won't be the one issuing the orders for much longer. She'll know exactly who's coming for her. This won't take long, and when I'm done, I'll be free of Mystra's yoke once and for all.
Gale of Waterdeep, you look well.
No thanks to you. I wasn't expecting a summons, but then you did always prefer things on your terms.
I did not come here to suffer a mortal's admonitions. Certainly not yours. You discovered what lies at the heart of the Absolute, the crown of Karsus. And you disobeyed my instruction. Why?
You abandoned me in my hour of greatest need. I had no obligation to help you in yours.
You still believe yourself to be so wronged. You always were stubborn. The past cannot be undone with self-pity, nor can a future be forged. Only with the truth will you see the way ahead. The fragment of magic you tried to return to me was not of my creation. It was the Karsite weave. It is a corrupted, half-born magic, wrought in the brief moment Karsus ascended to godhood. It hungers for power, just as he did, and it can never be sated. You unleashed something that would consume all magic in existence, and yet you thought only of preserving yourself.
Well, somebody had to. You weren't exactly forthcoming with any offers of help.
My concern was the preservation of everything. The Karsite weave could tear apart the very fabric of the material plane. That it entered your body and consumed no more than your powers was a miracle. But we will not be granted another. The only reason the orb sleeps is because I have allowed it to feed on the true weave. A temporary measure, but one that will not be enough to save us. With each day that passes, the Elder Brain threatens to become a new kind of god. Its worshippers, a scourge of soulless illithids. If you will not use the orb to end this abomination, then you must find a way to separate crown and host. When you've done this, you must surrender the crown of Karsus to me.
Not happening. When I get my hands on that crown, I'm going to wield it. Karsus's powers will be mine.
Crown yourself, Gale Decarius, and you will learn what it is to carry such weight upon your shoulders. If it does not crush you, I will.
Strangely, no. Once, a mere glimpse of her face would have been enough to turn my insides over. But not this time. In her likeness, I used to read 1,000 stories. She was beauty, wisdom, elegance, power. She contained universes. But now, it's hard to see any redeeming qualities in a lover who condemned you to death. I'd much rather gaze into your eyes than hers. Yours are capable of tenderness and feeling. No god could ever compare.
He really wants to be a god. Interesting. I'll keep that in mind.
Defying Mystra, declaring that he'll rule the Karsite Weave. I didn't know Gale had it in him. I'm just so proud.
Gale defied Mystra herself. I hope he does not come to regret it.
Gale defied Mystra herself. Good. Not every goddess is deserving of such love. I would know.
I have seen the ravages visited on Terrell by the gods. Even the ones we so naively call good. If Gale's intentions are virtuous, ultimate power will sour them. And if they are not, well, I shudder to think of the chaos he could sow.
Gale plans to become a god now, does he? And all because his lover spurned him. By the stars, it is probably not even the most foolish cause that has seen mortals rise to divinity.
The scent of Netheril hangs heavy in this place. The brain is close, as is the crown. I'm glad we faced such a monster together. When? I'm glad you have such confidence in our endeavor. I confess, my own's not constructed from such immutable materials. I challenged my goddess, defied her will, and promised her destruction. Failed to get the crown after all that. And if the embarrassment doesn't finish me off, Mystra might. And will be in touching distance of the crown, of reclaiming the powers of Karsus himself. I'm ready. Are you? Then I think it's about time we ascended, don't you?
There it is. The crown of Karsus. The site of power. The site of domination.
I must obey. I must end.
The pain rips through you, obliterating all thought, all feeling. Your tadpole burns in your brain. Silence. For the first time in a long time, your thoughts are entirely your own. And then, gravity.
The crown. It's somewhere in the Chiontha. If I salvage the stones, I can reforge it. With the crown in my hands, I will be unstoppable. the Karsite Weave would be mine to command. I would be more than the greatest wizard who ever lived. I would be a god. That day cannot come soon enough. But first, I must retrieve the crown. Have patience a while, and I will return to you, carrying immortality in one hand and offering you ascension with the other. I will be a god, as will you.
And you have seen more of life than you ever thought possible. You are greeted as a savior, a champion, a hero. But sometimes you feel like something else entirely. An adventurer, a traveler, a survivor. You faced down the gods. You thwarted the grand design. Anything seems possible. But before you can write the next chapter of your story, you must end this one.
Down, left is right, and Tressim's a cat's.
So very stubborn.
Well, there he is, Gale in all his glory. I hope you're happy, the god of ambition. Have you ever heard anything more ridiculous? The Gale I knew wasn't like this. He recognized his mistakes. He was contrite. All he wanted to do was live. Unfortunately, he fell into company that turned his gaze toward foolishness. Yes, I mean you. You'd best not have any plans to follow in Gale's footsteps. One god at this gathering is quite enough.
I hoped I'd see you here. I imagine this must be quite a shock. Whatever you're feeling, do not be afraid. Still me, just an improved version. Not to be overly pedantic, but they are my powers now. I imagine you're wondering how all this came to be. The finer points of divine ascension are beyond mortal comprehension, I'm afraid, but I can provide a rudimentary sequence of events. First, I retrieved the crown of Karsus and reforged it using a series of precise and highly complex Netherese incantations. Then, I used it. As you know, the orb within me was the half-formed Karsite Weaver, magic left incomplete by Karsus' self-destruction. I finished it. Using the crown of Karsus, I turned it into a new form of magic, fused with my being, driven by my purpose. And then I put it to work. As expected, Mystra was unwilling to hand over the reins of the weave, so I've claimed dominion over another area which I've passing familiarity. Ambition. I don't recall saying that I'd given up. I confess, I expected Raphael to come knocking with that infernal contract we signed. But, strangely enough, he never showed his face. Intimidated, no doubt. I can say this much for now. Mystra is welcome to her dominion. My aims are set a little higher than offering cursory blessings to just any half-decent spellcaster. I exist not to bestow favors on my followers, but to inspire them to seize their destinies for themselves, exactly as I did. I'm their proof. Proof their hopes are not barren wastes, but the loamy soil in which their future achievements flourish. Proof that with ambition, anything is possible. You see? Now you're realizing your true potential. You and many more by the day. There are already several shrines in my honor scattered across the outer reaches of Thay, and rumors of a very prominent temple under construction in Arm. This is only the beginning. I see you won't be claiming the domain of patience in the heavens. All in good time, my love. For now, mortality has one more night of enjoyment in store. So, it's time for me to return to the heavens.
Leaving already, Gale Decarios? I think not. You have something of mine. The crown of Carsus. I'm not going to take it. He's going to give it to me, as promised. Isn't that right, Gale?
You're an alluring figure, Raphael. I confess, I took a liking to you the moment we met. We have something in common after all. Ambition. But here's where we differ. You have lofty goals, and the crown is the key to them. You're desperate to get your claws on it. Ambition is your bread and bloody butter. But it's more than that to me. It's my domain. And I think in your case, I'll bend the rules and make things a little more interesting for both of us.
Do not toy with me, wizard.
I thought you liked playing games. You can have the crown, Raphael. But you'll need to come and collect it from my realm.
You can't do this!
I rather think I can. Ta-ta for now. That was immensely satisfying. I need to go and prepare for him to come knocking at my door. The question is, do you wish to go with me? To become a god at my side? I hit him where he's most vulnerable, pricked his pride and sent him back to the hells to lick his wounds. He'll be back. The question is, will he find us side by side? That is for you to decide, my love. Ambition made me what I am. What drives you, we have yet to discover. Your domain will come to you as you settle into divinity. I can't wait to see what you'll become. Then follow my lead. Close your eyes. How do you feel? And that's just the beginning. I have so much more to show you.
I owe you a debt of gratitude. It is thanks to you that Gale, the Wizard of Waterdeep, became Dekarios the Divine, God of Ambition. Without you, he would not have survived the appetites of the tadpole. It would have feasted on that impressive mind of his, and all of his talent would have been snuffed out forever. But mere survival was not enough. Not for Gale, and not for you. Saving your world from the gods and monsters that threatened it wasn't enough. Gale wanted more, and you encouraged him to ignore every sensible instinct, to ignore the lesson of Karsus's folly, and to reach for the heavens. You were the spark that rekindled Gale's hubris, and set him on a course that will make Celestia quake. I longed for the crown to satisfy my own ambitions, and I was furious that it had escaped me again. But I have assessed the situation, pondered every variable, plotted every possible course, and I have come to realize that this is for the best. In time, long after you're gone, Gale Dekarios will cause such division and chaos in these realms that even the lords of the hells will be aghast to see it. Ambition. Such a delicious sin for mortal kind to indulge in. Such a dreadful weapon for an immortal to wield. The gods will be sundered, and from their ruin I will rise.